Chinese companies facing regulatory challenges in the United States are setting up affiliates to try and protect their U.S. interests. While the actions to rebrand are legal, regulators are taking notice because they can't enforce the law if the owner or operator is unclear. Joining us right now is Riva Gujan. She's a director at the Rhodium Group, where she works with clients screening these Chinese companies. And Riva, can you explain in a little more detail what's happening? These are Chinese companies or extensions of Chinese companies that would be illegal, but these companies somehow rebrand and change what they're calling themselves, maybe some of their corporate entities, as a result to try and not lose what they've built up here. How's that work?
Yeah, and really no surprise there. As Chinese companies, as you described, they're trying to redomicile, creatively restructure their entities as a way to stay sticky in supply chains, stay relevant in these friendshoring trends. And really, we saw a lot of this scrutiny pick up around 2020 or so, as Chinese companies, of course, were reading the room. They saw that scrutiny was building on them. And during the Trump administration, if you recall, lots of darts were being thrown at Beijing, right, and at Chinese entities. But there was still a lot of smoke in the room. And so there was still room, so to speak, for Chinese companies to try to rebrand themselves and hope they could fly beneath the radar. That's now becoming a lot harder, though, under the Biden administration.
So when you say rebrand, I mean, you think of a company that used to have a Chinese name, and all of a sudden it becomes U.S. first international supplier or something like that. Is it more than a name change? Is there actually a change in the ownership structure?
Yeah, you try to create several degrees of layership here, where you can layer out your ownership structure, right? So to stay below thresholds that could trigger more scrutiny. The problem with that is the U.S. scrutiny over Chinese ownership thresholds varies depending on what issue you're looking at. So, for example, IRA criteria in the Inflation Reduction Act for decarbonization technologies, those are very stringent conditions, for example, for EV tax credit eligibility. In other areas, you have higher ownership thresholds, but this is a moving target for a lot of Chinese entities. So it's not that easy to just stay right below that threshold and try to disguise yourself. Also, there's inbound investment screening by CFIUS, which is an interagency review. And that scrutiny has been building up as well to look at different types of transactions, patterns of transactions, multi-stage transactions as well. So overall, this is going to be harder for Chinese companies to do, especially in very strategic, sensitive areas where industrial policy focus also is in the U.S.
Riva, it sounds like more than just rebranding, though. If they're selling ownership to U.S. investors, what do? Just make sure that they still have a majority owned by the Chinese parent company? I'm trying to think of something that people know, and you come back to ByteDance and TikTok in the United States.
Yeah, in some cases, you have subsidiaries, affiliates that are falling below certain ownership thresholds, partnering with American firms and trying to rebrand themselves as well in name to be perceived at least as an American company. But due diligence tools are getting better at tracing those degrees of ownership and trying to understand what's the degree of Chinese ownership. And you're seeing this reflected also in U.S. legislation, where you're seeing a number of policy calls saying that for any blacklisting or red flagging of Chinese entities, you're not only looking at the direct entity itself and its direct ownership structure, but any subsidiaries, affiliates, even successors to that entity. So there's this overall preemptive approach to trying to capture more of this ecosystem to say that even if a Chinese company is trying to rebrand itself or restructure itself, if they fall in one of these sensitive areas, that they could be effectively restricted.
It's not illegal. Regulators are frustrated by it, but what can they possibly do about it?
Well, that's where on the policy side, you're seeing more emphasis on transparency requirements, right? So for investors to understand what is the full ownership structure. Is there any linkage to a Chinese military industrial complex entity, for example? And if that cannot be effectively screened, then, if you're in a sensitive industry, that may require certain due diligence and restrictions to say that if you have reason to believe that there could be some linkage to a military entity, that you should go ahead and avoid doing business with them. And this is harder to do in the investor space, obviously, but there are restrictions on publicly traded securities through a treasury list called the NSCMIC list. That has potential to expand. But overall, I think the emphasis right now is on transparency requirements and disclosures.